we've built Hunt Auctions to be sort of a different type of auction company. We look back to when we first started, and it's just incredible how the industry has evolved. Our goal from day one was to sort of operate a sports auction house company at a more fine art and antiquity level. We wanted to bring clients the very best items, whether that be a $100 item or a $500,000 item. We wanted it to be the best in whatever category it may fall within. And in turn with that, bring to clientele the absolute assurity that the items are authentic, that they're properly researched, that they come from what we like to call primary sources, such as working with Major League players or NFL players or institutions, museums. That was our mission statement. We wanted to be involved with those parties. We worked extraordinarily hard to perfect our process and make sure that our reputation for integrity and honesty was on par, that they would even consider working with us. Their standards are extremely high and expectedly so. And frankly, we're extraordinarily proud that we are essentially the auction house, bar no others, that have worked with more of those types of entities and players than anybody else.
Well, if you need something done right, you go to Hunt Auctions. I mean, there's always a choice in your life. You're treated right, you're treated in a first-class manner, but it's also done right. And that's, the presentation. I think the hardest thing to do for a lot of people is to let go. I know my son Bobby has put all this together. He's worked hand in hand with David, and it's just been a tremendous response. It's been everything we could ask for and more.
With a brand like Louisville Slugger here at Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory and the history of Hillerk and Bradsby Company, we've survived a lot over the years. So we're very protective of our brand. You've got a partner here with Hunt who is enjoyable to work with, knows their stuff, and you can trust them to the ends of the earth.
I think it's important, for anybody running an auction house to not just have the business acumen to be successful, but also to live and breathe these items, to care about them, to be educated in them. By us caring and treating them as if those objects were a part of our own collections, the buyers see that. Bidders rely on that, and you cannot replace that commitment in any way. That is the only way that we believe in operating, and we're extraordinarily honored that players recognize that.
There's this huge auction going on Friday in Boston. Bill Russell is auctioning off hundreds of items, warm-ups, jerseys.
I probably would like to have some of that collection. I think I might look at that auction and bid on something. To be able to have all 11 of his rings, nobody's outbidding me on that one.
Babe Ruth's family, as I had talked to the family members, and initially they were not sold on doing an auction at all, maybe something more private. And as we talked to them, it became apparent that trust was the key hurdle to overcome. And Hunt Auctions and their history behind representing players, behind making sure that they were properly informed to do media appearances and conduct themselves in a manner befitting of a player's name such as Babe Ruth, is not only an extreme honor, it's an extreme responsibility that we take very, very seriously. And eventually, it was relayed to us that it wasn't about choosing Hunt Auctions over another company. We were the choice, or they weren't going to conduct an auction. And that's something that absolutely heartens us, that we've taken the right approach, that we've built the kind of company that can properly represent names such as Babe Ruth. It's that trust that we're going to deliver 100% on what we've promised to do, on how we're going to conduct ourselves, that they see that personal attention that we devote to this and the personal care that we devote to their representation of their items. Many of them will share with us that that was the determining factor in using Hunt Auctions versus any other sports auction house. We aren't just looking for a letter or somebody else's opinion. We stand behind what we sell. We care about what we sell. We care about our clients. We care about our consigners. And we try to treat, as we always have, all of that network of individuals as our family. That is what a family business is all about. Just because we've elevated to a very significant level in this industry, that doesn't mean you abandon the principles that got you to where you are now. Trust is really what this entire business comes down to, whether it's an authentication opinion, whether it's a marketing piece, or whether you're pitching a famous player to work with your company, or you're talking to an elite level buyer who wants to trust that he should be bidding on or purchasing this particular item from your company, those attributes of honesty and integrity have served us extraordinarily well, and we're very proud of them.
So authentication is paramount to what we do. Every piece that runs through here is a reflection of us, and we work very, very hard to make sure that what we're offering is authentic and ultimately is what we say it is. Obviously, we utilize and at times rely on third-party authentication, but the wealth and depth of knowledge that we have in-house, I personally think when you get to certain areas is second to none. We spend, I would have to imagine, more time sort of rooting through and pre-screening material before it comes through the door, as it's coming through the door, and really making sure that it's something that we want to put our name and reputation behind. You know, I've been at this for 20 years, and I'm learning something new every day. I keep a vast file of exemplars, constantly going through other auctions. The nice part about handling the bulk of material that we do is that is hands-on experience that you cannot get anywhere else. If you put a pile of autographs in front of me, I'm going to be able to sift my way through it, and in some cases with 100% confidence, in others, maybe not so much. But that's also an important part of the process, is knowing what you know, and then having people you can rely on, exemplars you can rely on, and resources that you can draw on to make sure that you're comfortable ultimately with what you're offering, with what we as a company are offering. We're just the caretakers, hoping to marry one owner to another. In working through the process, you need a lot of people to do that, and everybody contributes more than words could ever say. You know, it's really a great team, and a lot of trust and a lot of friendship, camaraderie through the whole thing.
Everyone's role here is very important. From the time something comes in the door to the time it leaves, we all need to communicate, be on the same page, and make sure it goes from A to B flawlessly. So I think it's important to set up at the national and other card shows, as well as the NFL Experience and the All-Star Game with Major League Baseball. It helps us to network. Also just to be close with other people in the industry so that we can share resources. You know, every collection that comes in is different, and every year is different, especially when we go to the Super Bowl, that's in a different city every year. And the All-Star Game, it's always in a different location, so it helps to break things up, and that makes everything much more exciting. You know that you're gonna see something new and hopefully reach out to new bidders, maybe new consigners being there. For our catalogs, we usually try to go with a clean feel, not too much on a page, try to make it easy for people to look through, and something that they might want to keep on their coffee table. So we try to have nice covers, either colorful or just interesting imagery. As far as the lots go, a lot of times we try to photo match things, just put more attention to detail with some of the items. So for new bidders, what we try to do is just walk them through the auction process itself and registration, make sure they know what's going on as far as auctions, especially if they've never bid in an auction before. It can be a little different. So we just make sure everything is clear, know how to navigate our website, and can navigate that as well.
So processes, reputation, catalog production, authentication, those are all very important pieces to the consignment and auction puzzle. But it's results. Let's talk about results, because that's what people want to see. Consigners demand the highest results, and they should. They should expect that from whoever they're working with. One thing that we find often occurs in our industry is over-promising and under-delivering. We are very careful in performing educated evaluations, estimates, appraisals to our consigners ahead of time, and on making them understand what the auction process is all about. Our results is where we are looking to exceed everybody in our industry. Will you hit a record price in each and every consignment? Of course not. But we don't just focus on the record-breaking pieces. We want their mid-level items to succeed. We want their low-level items to succeed in our monthly sales. Instead of turning those away, we have different appropriate venues that we will push the appropriate consignments into. But we are working just as hard for their $500 items as we are for their $500,000 items, and that's something that we firmly believe in that will lead to success for our consigners. As this industry continues to grow, we've been at the forefront of it. We've been leaders in pricing in different categories. We've revolutionized ways to retain what's the best parts about this hobby from many years ago and sort of combine all those different entities into a process that will inevitably bring the very best items to the clientele that bid with us and outperform our competition on behalf of our consigners, and each one of those sides working together to form the best auction house we could possibly envision. And we think it's important to remember where you came from while you look ahead to where you're going.